Auntie Rose says, no sugar for me, just a little artificial sweetener in my cup of tea. She says, just half a slice of that lovely cake, it looks so nice. So she eats 1/2 slice, and another half slice, and another half slice, and another and another and another. Her eyes glaze. I can almost see her growing fatter and fatter, until the cake's all gone. She says, oh well, it doesn't really matter. There's another one in the fridge on a baked meringue platter. After she's eaten that, she laughs. She says, my clothes, they don't fit me anymore. So we're off on the bus to the larger ladies' fashion store. After that, she says, my word, that's really worn me out, and it's lunchtime. Back in the coffee shop, she says, I'm back on the diet. No sugar for me, just a little artificial sweetener in my cup of tea. That dress I bought, it's on the big side, so while we're here, let's have a pie and half a slice of that lovely cake. It looks so nice.
A Healthy Lifestyle by Philip Rush. They tell me farming's healthy, and maybe you agree, but I can tell you squarely it's not been kind to me. Not that I'm complaining, I've had a decent life, but farming's caused me body a fair amount of strife. I suffer from arthritis and rheumatism too, and every flaming winter I catch the wretched flu. My hips are not too handy, my right knee's pretty crook. High tensile took my eye out, so I've got that one-eyed look. Through carting hay and timber, I've jiggered up my back, and every time I twist my neck I hear a nasty crack. My ticker's not too bad, I guess, I have a murmur there, and probably due to worry, I've lost my head of hair. I've got lots of spots and things from being in the sun. Each time I see the doctor, he removes another one. My left hand isn't pretty, I crushed it years ago. When splitting up some fence posts, I lost my second toe. I don't get quite so breathless since I've given up the smokes, but I don't think I'm as healthy as all you other folks. But I still work 8 hours a day, thankful I'm alive, which isn't bad, I reckon, for a bloke who's 95.
Got some missing today, and what a beautiful day we have, or have rather, and it is quite a shame, I think, that they have put a bloke up here, like me, to spoil it for you. At any rate, I have a couple of pieces of poetry here I've written and a couple I've learnt over the years. I've picked on some old poetry because there's a lot of young people here and they possibly haven't heard it before. But just before I start, I picked up a little joke book at home just before I came down. And the very first little story on the very first page, number 1, was a little 4-liner that said, if a chap had a bushel of apples, he could have a lot of fun with the doctor's wife. Now think about that, because an apple a day, you know the rest. At any rate, folk, I have a piece of poetry here I learnt some possibly 25, 30 odd years ago, and I'm not sure who wrote it, but it was recorded in a monologue type voice by the late and great Slim Dusty. Now, it must have a bit of credit to it because Slim didn't do any rubbish work. And to the best of my knowledge, I think it was called The Frog. And once more, to the best of my knowledge, I think it went something like this. Now, you've heard of the tales that the old folks tell, from Burt to Camberwell, or on the dusty straits in the southern states from Orbosk out to Warwick-Naville. Some were grave, some were brave, and some had humour too. But each of the tellers, he always said the tale that he told was true. Now take Paddy the dancer. He was a swagman of note, and he followed the Bidgie run. No, that's not the Murrumbidgee, sorry. That's Murrumbidgee Creek. Takes Paddy the dancer, a swagman of note, and he followed the Bidgie run. And he found himself on the tucker track, and most of his food was gone. So he pondered a while, and he thought a bit. And as far as he could see, he just had to catch himself a cod to cook on the coals for tea. Well, he scrounged a line from some binder twine that he scrounged from a farmer's hay. And then he fashioned a hook from a rusty nail that got stuck in his foot that day. And he looked with pride at his fishing gear, and then to try he could hardly wait. But he remembered at last, as good fishermen do, you've got to cover your hook with bait. He thought at last, as most fishermen do, he remembered a tale that someone told in the dim and distant past, that frogs were the thing good fishermen used for the fish to break their fast. But frogs were as scarce as teeth on hens. At least that's what he said to me. But he searched around till he found a frog at the foot of a big gum tree. Well, he stalked that frog on hands and knees like the big game hunters do. But a black snake coming the other way had the same idea in view. Both of them grabbed together, but the snake was a fraction fast, because he'd swallowed that frog, but he found himself held tight in the swagman's grasp. Well, Paddy, he always carried a flask of some very potent grog. And with tears in his eyes, he said, it's got to be done. I want that flaming frog. So he squeezed that wriggling reptile's neck until his jaws were open wide. And with tears in his eyes, he shot his grog fair into the snake's inside. Well, he gave a gurgle, and then a grunt, and then a big spit or two. And there was that frog all bleary-eyed. There was that frog in the light of day, damn near as good as you. So he grabbed the frog and he hurried away, and he baited his rusty hook. And he then lay down on this grassy bank by the side of the peaceful brook. And then he felt this tap on his shoulder blade. And he turned with eyes agog. Because there was that frog, all bleary-eyed, and in his mouth was another frog. But that's the tale they told to me as I camped by that reedy flat. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. You'd best be the judge of that. But what I can hardly believe is, with the way that he loved his grog, he would throw it away down a useless snake for the sake of a worthless frog. Thank you, folks. This one I hope to get a little bit of a giggle from you, because
Oops! I did it again, baby. Yeah!
What led you through the hopelessly tangled underbrush of private security organizations to our door, Stellar word of mouth? Our fine client roster? Those flyers we put up in that public urinal?